people say, you're trying to impose your morality on other people. Mm-hmm. I'd say, yeah. Exactly right. Yes. But I hasten to add, so does everybody else. Mm. All law is imposed morality. It's an inescapable concept. It's not whether you impose morality, it's which morality you impose. So if someone says, well, you pro-lifers want to impose your morality on the mother. Well, I say, yeah, we are. We want to say you can't kill your baby, and you can't kill your baby because God said to Moses that you can't kill the baby. So that's an imposition of morality. But that's not me coming in here to spoil the secular party where nobody's imposing morality and me coming in to ruin everything by imposing morality. Because before I showed up, the mother and the doctor were going to impose their morality on the child. Mm-hmm. Somebody, at the end of the day, someone has morality imposed on them. Now, if it's inescapable that morality is going to be imposed, and that's what law is the imposition of morality, then which morality? Do we want a corrupt one, a corrupt morality, or a good one? Right. And that's what it boils down to for Christians. Mm-hmm. So here's another way of coming at it. All societies, all cultures, all societies, all corporate groups of humans are moral organisms. Any body of people that makes decisions can make bad ones, can make evil ones. So a corporate
Sam.
No. Total depravity. I'm a capital T.
Oh, that's where you're McCarthy.
Yeah. Total depravity.
Total depravity.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, okay. No, not absolute
Still.
depravity. Total depravity. So if you have a nation or a college or a corporation or any social unit, that unit is a moral organism, and it makes decisions, and those decisions can be praised or blamed. And then my favorite question is, if you praise or blame, by what standard? What standard are we using to praise or blame? Now, if it's the standard of God Almighty, the true God, the living God, the triune God, ta-da, welcome to Christian nationalism.
Right.
Okay? If it's not the standard of the living God, it's the standard of an idol. Mm-hmm. And why would any Christian want to support the imposition of an idol's standards?
So what about pluralism? Like, because we live in this society, an American society that's supposedly supposed to be pluralistic. Obviously,
right.
We're struggling with that right now.
Right.
But what do we do with that? Like, how is this any different from the Christian version of Sharia law?
Well, the difference is the religion is different.
The religion, yeah, it's just different. Is it really?
Yes,
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah. Well, people think that. Here's an interesting thing. There was a Supreme Court decision in 1892, and the name of the Supreme Court decision was wonderfully named "The United States versus Holy Trinity," which is
scary.
Well, Holy Trinity was the name of a church, and this church called a British minister to come and serve in their pastorate. And then there was a law that prohibited the importation of laborers, cheap labor to work on railroads and that sort of thing. And so there was a court case that came out of this where the church was fined or attempted to be fined because they hired a British minister. And this case went all the way up to the Supreme Court. The name of the church was Holy Trinity in the United States. And the Supreme Court, I've read through this decision, the Supreme Court in 1892 determined on the merits. They said, no, this was not the intent of the law, blah, blah, blah. So they found in favor of the church. But then the Supreme Court went on to say, and furthermore, we can't have any truck with this nonsense because the United States is a Christian nation and always has been. Mm-hmm. And page after page, starting with the charters of the original colonies and the fundamental orders of Connecticut, the Declaration of Independence. So the Supreme Court of the United States in 1892 determined that the United States was a Christian nation. Now, what I want to tell you is that in 1894, 2 years after that, it wasn't The Handmaid's Tale
Yeah.
right?
Are you sure? I've only seen the first 20 minutes, but
Yeah, I've not seen.
Florida's the
I
Handmaid's
couldn't
Tale.
finish it.
Not seen any of it, but I know how that
Those
I know-
red outfits.
I know how the
they're
trope
terrible.
works in our
You're right,
culture.
of
They,
course.
they say if you allow for this, the first thing you're going to do is get some reformed weird beards, reformed ayatollahs chopping off people's hands and stuff. But that's a different religion. That's Islam. I'm not advocating for Islamic law. I'm advocating for Christian law. And Christian law is not something that's this unknown thing. We had it for centuries. It's not this newfangled idea. And the next thing is, and this ties into your pluralism question, there's a good kind of healthy kind of pluralism and an unhealthy kind of pluralism. Healthy pluralism is something that Christians invented. So it was our Christian roots that hammered out the doctrine of liberty of conscience. We're the ones who invented religious liberty. We're not the ones who are showing up late in the day to take religious liberty away. That's our baby. That's we hammered that out. We developed that. That was something that came out of the Reformation. And so what I'm arguing in Mere Christendom, another way of saying this is Christendom 2.0. Christendom 1.0 made some serious mistakes. There were blunders and crimes and things that we don't want to do again. We don't want the Spanish Inquisition again.
Yeah.
There are things we just don't want. We learned from that. But here's the thing: there were a few thousand people in the history of the Spanish Inquisition. There were a few thousand people executed vilely, awfully, bad, wicked. All right, but a few thousand people executed. I mean, that's Planned Parenthood on a slow afternoon.
Yeah.
Okay. And the Spanish Inquisition did what they did. Their crime was spread over a few centuries. So the issue is, what do we have going on now? We're imposing morality now. It's just a wicked one, right? And so that's what this whole tranny debate is.
Yes.
Okay.
Call it what it is. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. That's good.
Automotive repair. That's right. Oh, were you talking about something else?
The whole tranny debate. That's what I was talking
My
about.
transmission, my brake pads, transmission, it's all gone to pot.
Just not sure what I'm going to do with this.
So, bleep it.
Don't believe it. Keep it.
So we're in the middle of hardcore debating over fundamental issues of life, sexuality. What is if you can't answer the question, what is a girl? Then how on earth are you going to answer the question, what is a human being? And if you can't answer the question, what is a human being, then how on earth can you know what human rights are? The answer is you can't, right? So we are headed for a hellhole, and we are headed for a hellhole with our eyes open on purpose. And if any Christian pops their head up and says, "Hey guys, this is not that's the way to the abyss. This is we're going to go over the lip of the abyss, and that's not going to be good."
It's like, but then there's other Christians that pop up like David French.
Right.
I'm just going to say that.
Sure.
In contrast to that. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
Well, so here's the thing. When David French says that we want to preserve our institutions, I say, okay, yeah, I'm all for that. Who's burning them down? Right? When this goes back to Aristotle, do you want behavior that democracies like, or do you want behavior that preserves democracy? Okay, and we're in the middle of a cultural revolution.